A message like this does not reach everyone. Most people will scroll past today without stopping. They will move through this day exactly as they moved through yesterday. They will wake up, follow the same routines, think the same thoughts, carry the same worries, and never question whether something deeper is happening beneath the surface of their lives. Yet there are others who cannot shake a strange feeling, a feeling that something is shifting, a feeling that an old chapter is quietly coming to an end, a feeling that the life they have been living no longer fits the person they are becoming. If that feeling has been growing inside you recently, then stay with me, because this message may explain more than you realize. There is something fascinating about certain moments in life. They often arrive without warning. No dramatic announcement, no flashing signs, no loud voice from the sky, just a subtle feeling that refuses to leave. Many people ignore that feeling. A small burr of people listen to it, and those who listen often discover that some of the biggest turning points in their lives began with an inner realization long before any visible change appeared on the outside. That is one of the lesser-known truths about growth. Most transformations are invisible at first. Before a person changes their circumstances, they begin changing their thinking. Before they step into a new chapter, they start feeling disconnected from the old one. Before they discover their purpose, they often walk through confusion. Before clarity arrives, uncertainty usually comes first. That is why so many chosen people spend part of their lives feeling lost, not because they are failing, not because they are forgotten, but because growth often looks like confusion before it looks like progress. And that brings us to something very important. Many people believe that being chosen means living an easy life. The reality is often the opposite. Throughout history, people who carried important assignments, responsibilities, or purposes rarely experienced smooth journeys. They faced obstacles. They faced rejection. They faced seasons of waiting. They faced moments when nothing made sense. The part most people never talk about is that difficult seasons often become the training ground for future strength. The struggle itself becomes the preparation. The waiting develops patience. The setbacks develop resilience. The uncertainty develops faith. This is why some of the greatest lessons arrive during the seasons that feel the most uncomfortable. And perhaps that is exactly where many people find themselves right now, feeling restless, feeling disconnected from certain people, feeling uncertain about the future, feeling as though life is asking them to let go of something they have been holding on to for far too long. There is a reason these feelings can become so powerful. Human beings naturally seek stability. The mind prefers certainty. It prefers familiar patterns, even when those patterns are unhealthy, even when those patterns create stress, even when those patterns keep a person stuck. Yet growth demands something different. Growth requires movement. Growth requires change. Growth requires leaving behind old versions of ourselves, and that process is rarely comfortable. Many people mistake discomfort as a sign that something is wrong, but sometimes discomfort is evidence that something is changing. Sometimes the frustration you feel is not punishment. Sometimes it is preparation. Sometimes the closed doors are not setbacks. Sometimes they are redirections. Sometimes the silence is not abandonment. Sometimes it is a season of learning, and this perspective changes everything. Because the moment a person stops seeing every challenge as an enemy, they begin seeing opportunities that were hidden all along. That is one of the messages we will explore today. In this video, you will learn why why chosen people experience isolation before elevation. You will discover why certain relationships begin fading when a new season is approaching. You will understand why uncertainty often appears before major breakthroughs. You will learn the hidden reason many people feel different from those around them. You will discover why comparison steals peace and how trusting your own journey creates strength. You will also learn why some of the greatest blessings arrive only after a person develops the character required to handle them. And most importantly, you will hear a message that could completely change the way you view the challenges currently standing in front of you. Because there is a truth that many people never discover. Life is not only happening to you, life is also shaping you. Every challenge teaches something. Every setback reveals something. Every difficult season develops something. The question is whether a person chooses to recognize those lessons or ignore them. That is why this message is not about fear. It is not about predicting the future. It is not about creating anxiety. It is about awareness. Awareness changes everything. Awareness helps people see opportunities where others see obstacles. Awareness helps people find meaning in difficult seasons. Awareness helps people remain steady when circumstances become uncertain, and awareness often becomes the first step toward transformation. As this video continues, you may recognize patterns that have been quietly unfolding in your own life. You may begin understanding certain experiences differently. You may discover that some events you once viewed as setbacks were actually preparing you for something greater. The most important thing is to listen carefully until the very end. Each part of this message builds upon the next. Some of the most powerful insights will come later in the video, and by the time we reach the final message, you may see your current season through an entirely different lens. So take a moment to clear your mind, set aside distractions, open your heart to the possibility that there may be more purpose behind your journey than you previously realized. Because today we are going to explore a message that many people need to hear, but very few are willing to understand. And if you believe growth begins with awareness, then you are in the right place. Welcome to the channel. If you are ready to discover the hidden lessons behind your journey and continue growing in faith, wisdom, and purpose, make sure you subscribe and join our community. Now let us begin. Many chosen people spend years carrying a burden that nobody else can see. From the outside, their lives may look normal. They smile, they work, they speak with others. They move through daily routines just like everyone else. Yet deep inside, there is often a feeling that has followed them for years, a feeling that they do not fully belong. It is difficult to explain this feeling to people who have never experienced it. It is possible to stand in a crowded room and still feel completely alone. It is possible to be surrounded by family, friends, and co-workers and still feel disconnected, not because there is something wrong with you, not because you are better than others, but because your mind and heart are searching for something deeper. Many chosen people notice things that others overlook. They ask questions that others avoid. They think about purpose while others focus only on comfort. They feel called toward growth while others remain satisfied with staying the same. This difference often creates loneliness. There are dreams inside chosen people that nobody else can see. There are goals they cannot fully explain. There are desires that seem strange to those around them. As a result, many spend years feeling misunderstood. Sometimes they are criticized. Sometimes they are doubted, sometimes they are rejected, and sometimes the rejection. This is because it comes from the people they expected to support them the most. Yet there is a truth hidden inside these painful experiences. Rejection is not always a sign that you are moving in the wrong direction. Sometimes rejection is proof that your path was never meant to look like everyone else's. Throughout history, many people who later discovered their purpose first experienced misunderstanding. They were questioned, they were doubted. They were told they were unrealistic. They were told they should lower their expectations. But difficult seasons have a way of building strength that easy seasons never can. Pressure develops resilience. Waiting develops patience. Challenges develop character. The struggle was never meaningless. Even the moments that seemed unfair were teaching lessons that could not be learned any other way. And this leads to another reality that many chosen people eventually discover. God often separates before he elevates. This part of the journey is one of the hardest to accept. People leave, friendships change, relationships end, doors close, opportunities disappear. Entire environments that once felt familiar suddenly begin feeling uncomfortable. At first, it can feel like loss, it can feel like punishment, it can feel like life is falling apart. But many times, something very different is happening. Preparation is taking place. A person cannot step into a new season while holding on to everything from the old one. Growth requires space, and sometimes that space is created through separation. Many chosen people spend years asking why certain people disappeared from their lives. Only later do they realize those people belong to a chapter, not the entire story. Some friendships were meant to teach lessons. Some relationships were meant to reveal strengths and weaknesses. Some seasons were meant to prepare you for the next stage of your journey. The painful part is that preparation rarely feels pleasant while it is happening. Most people celebrate the blessing. Very few understand the preparation that came before it. That is why many chosen ones mistake preparation for punishment. They see isolation and assume they have been abandoned. They see closed doors and assume they have failed. They see delays and assume they are forgotten. Yet many of the greatest transformations begin in seasons where nothing seems to be moving forward. The hidden purpose behind isolation is often growth. When distractions disappear, clarity begins to grow. When noise becomes quieter, truth becomes easier to hear. When old connections fade, new possibilities become visible. And perhaps that explains why your life has felt different lately. Many people experience restlessness during periods of growth, a strange feeling that something needs to change, a feeling that old habits no longer make sense, a feeling that old routines no longer bring satisfaction, a feeling that familiar environments know low. Anger feel familiar. This can be confusing. Part of you wants to move forward. Part of you wants to stay comfortable. Part of you feels excited. Part of you feels afraid. The old version of yourself wants certainty. The new version of yourself wants growth. And these two parts often create internal conflict. This discomfort is not necessarily a bad sign. Transformation is rarely comfortable. Growth challenges old beliefs. Growth challenges old habits. Growth challenges old identities. When a person begins changing internally, the external world often feels different too. Conversations that once seemed important may begin feeling empty. Habits that once felt normal may begin feeling limiting. Relationships that once felt natural may begin feeling forced. Many people become worried when this happens. They assume something is wrong. But spiritual and personal growth often feels uncomfortable before it feels rewarding. The old version of you cannot travel where the new version is trying to go. That is why the message today is simple. Stop doubting yourself. Stop assuming that every difficult season means failure. Stop measuring your journey against someone else's timeline. Your path is different. Your experiences are different. Your purpose is different. Comparison destroys peace because it forces people to evaluate their lives using standards that were never designed for them. Someone else's success is not proof of your failure. Someone else's timing is not proof that you are behind. Growth happens differently for every person. Some people bloom early. Others bloom later. Both still bloom. Trusting the process becomes easier when you stop staring at everyone else's journey and start focusing on your own. Faith becomes strongest when certainty disappears. Anyone can believe when everything is going well. The real test comes during uncertainty. The real test comes when answers are delayed. The real test comes when progress feels invisible. And that is exactly why so many people miss messages like this. Modern life is filled with distractions, constant noise, constant opinions, constant comparison, constant fear. People are so busy reacting that they rarely stop long enough to reflect. They are so focused on what is happening around them that they forget to examine what is happening within them. Yet awareness changes everything. Awareness helps people recognize patterns. Awareness reveals opportunities. Awareness creates growth. And the people who develop awareness often discover something that changes the entire direction of their lives. As we come to the end of this message, it is important to remember something that many people will completely miss. The true meaning of today was never about a date on a calendar. It was never about a number on a clock. It was never about May 31st. It was never about November 11th. Those things will come and go. 31st May will pass. 11/11 will disappear. The clock will continue moving forward. Days will become weeks. Weeks will become months. Months will become years. Time never stops for anyone. The real question is not whether time will move forward. The real question is whether you will move forward with it. Most people will wake up tomorrow and continue repeating the same patterns, the same fears, the same excuses, the same doubts, the same habits that have kept them stuck for years. They will wait for another sign, another perfect moment, another reason to finally change. And while they continue waiting, life will continue moving. But some people will choose something different. Some people will use this moment as a turning point, not because of a date, not because of a number, not because of a prediction, but because they finally became aware. Awareness is where every transformation begins. Awareness changes behavior. Behavior shapes habits. Habits shape character, and character shapes destiny. Everything begins with awareness. The moment a person becomes aware of what is holding them back, they gain the power to change it. The moment a person becomes aware of destructive thinking, they gain the opportunity to replace it. The moment a person becomes aware of fear, they gain the ability to face it. Small changes repeated consistently become powerful over time. A better thought becomes a better decision. A better decision becomes a better habit. A better habit becomes a better life. This is why growth rarely happens overnight. It happens one choice at a time, one day at a time, one step at a time. And perhaps that is exactly what this message was meant to remind you. You are not behind. Even if it feels that way sometimes, you are not forgotten. Even during the seasons when nothing seems to be happening, you are not abandoned. Even when the road feels lonely, There are moments in life when progress is invisible, moments when growth is happening beneath the surface, moments when lessons are being learned that will only make sense later. Many of the strongest people in the world once stood exactly where you are standing now, confused, uncertain, waiting, questioning, yet they kept moving forward. And eventually they discovered that the difficult season was preparing them for something greater than they could see at the time. Your story is still being written. This chapter is not the entire book. This struggle is not the final page. This season is not your final destination. There is still more growth ahead, more wisdom ahead, more purpose ahead, more opportunities ahead, more blessings ahead. Sometimes the reason the journey feels difficult is because the destination is important. Sometimes the reason the path feels challenging is because it is shaping the person you are becoming. And sometimes the answers only become clear after you keep walking long enough to see the bigger picture. So before you leave today, remember this powerful truth. The moment you stop questioning why the journey is difficult may be the moment you finally understand why you were chosen to walk it. If this message spoke to your heart, take a moment to support the channel. Like this video so more people can discover this message. Subscribe to the channel and join our growing community. And in the comments below, write, "I trust God's timing." Thank you for watching, and remember, your journey is not over. The best chapters may still be ahead of you.